Let's get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Priya. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are super excited to present to you another regulatory pathway. And this time it's for China. It's a popular market and considered to be a challenging market. Therefore, I am delighted to have a fantastic regulatory expert, Jocelyn Zhu, to share some insights with you. For those of you who may not be familiar with what RegDesk does, we are an AI-powered RIM platform. It's integrated with regulatory intelligence. That means you get to know exactly what the requirements are, what the timelines, costs are per country. We also leverage AI so that you can prepare and manage and publish international submissions smarter and faster, usually within hours. If you'd like to learn more or have specific questions or have questions regarding your business needs, or maybe you're looking for a RIM platform at your organization, we'd be happy to schedule a call to discuss further. And I will add a link to the chat so that you have a place where you can schedule a meeting if you'd like. That being said, let me introduce our expert for today, Jocelyn. Thank you so much. Jocelyn is a seasoned professional specializing in regulatory, clinical, and quality assurance affairs for over 20 years. She has extensive years of consulting experience. Her expertise is centered on market access strategy, regulatory compliance, clinical operations, and also post-market surveillance. It's aimed to facilitate the successful entry and expansion of medical devices and related products in both China and global markets. Jocelyn's professional journey is marked by significant contributions, including her role as an author for RAPS, and she served as a speaker for RAPS Convergence as well. She has been a panelist for the UK government, offering her insights on China medical device market access. Since 2018, Jocelyn has been mentoring numerous multinational corporations, providing strategic solutions for regulatory and clinical operations in China. Her current role is the Chief Operating Officer and Principal Consultant at the TX Medical in China. So we couldn't have had a better person here to talk to us about China, the regulations, the various pathways in China. However, before we begin, I'd like to turn our attention to our attendees. Once again, thank you for joining us. At the end of this meeting, we will hold a brief Q&A. This time we are making an exception. Usually our webinars are 30 minutes. We will extend this to 45 minutes and longer if need be, because Jocelyn has a lot of content to cover. We encourage your participation, so please there's a chat button at the bottom of your screen. In the interest of time, just submit your questions there. We'll do our very best to address as many questions as possible. If we run out of time, please don't worry, just email us your questions and we'll get Jocelyn to answer those for you. That being said, also the PowerPoint deck that Jocelyn will be sharing will be shared and sent email to all of you. If you did sign up as for the webinar, you will receive that at the end of the meeting. So just give us a couple days, or by early next week, you'll have it in your inbox. Now that's all from my end, Jocelyn, I'll turn the attention to you, and please you take over, and you can go ahead and share your screen and I'll mute myself.
Okay, thank you so much for introduction, Priya. So I will share the slide.
Perfect. We can see it. I think yep, great.
Yeah, it's a very great honor to be here today. Yeah, I'm focused on the China market access. So I'm presenting today is a comprehensive guide on navigating the medical device registration in China. And I will show the processes and the strategies. You know, China market is really complex. So it's a field with opportunities and challenges as well. So for today's discussion, and I would like to give some insights and to understand how to leverage such opportunities and overcome the challenges to get to success in China. So you can see our agenda for webinar today. The first, I will give brief introduction of the overview of the China medical device industry and give a big picture of China regulatory landscape and introduce the detailed process, the timeline, and everyone will ask the budget for the whole project in China. I will give some ideas about that. And clinical evaluation is very important in China. We need to find a least burdensome, clinical evaluation solution in China for help you to China submission. And still, for the overseas manufacturers and the China regulatory authorities have some unique requirements. Finally, I will give some takeaways for your strategy. So this slide is the overview of the whole big picture of the China medical industry. Yeah, we understand China is the world's second largest medical device market, following the United States. And the market size has been doubled since 2018. And now there's a very large size for market now. And why you think China market is very important for the overseas manufacturers. Since we understand China has a large population, so that's why we had a huge market growth and potential. Still, China healthcare, the system has been changing a lot, and the government would like to purchase more advanced, technologies. So we have a lot of high demands for cutting-edge technologies and devices. Also, they spend a lot of, R&D spendings, and China is stable, so the foreign investment is still increasing, and the government support, they would like to let the hospital to purchase the more cutting-edge devices. So that's a very good opportunity, for the overseas manufacturers to enter China, with your innovations, your new devices, new technologies. China also shows some collaboration modes, such as the localization and the partnership. I will give a strategy picture at the end of this webinar, to get everything you can maybe some clear about how the strategy to map out the global one, including the China. So for let's go through the China regulatory landscape. China National Medical Project Administration, that's the top officer, and for the regulation of the medical field. Their role is to formulate the regulations, the guidelines for each project, and formulating the standards. And you will get the certificate from the NMPA. They will review all the dossiers from your side, to do the registration, to the renewal, to the change. Also they will do some post-market surveillance. They will continue. They had a team to do the continuous inspections and the supervisions. So they will regulate all the medical activities in China. This slide, you will understand the medical device classification. That is very the same as the other countries. They were based on the device, the risk levels. Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3. And the NMPA has issued a catalog for the medical device classification catalog. Most of the devices have been listed in that catalog. The table here, I just laid an example for that. Sorry. So they will cover the catalog number and the primary catalog, the secondary catalog, the device description, and the class. All this information that's very important for your before you submit your dossiers, because the catalog number here, 01, 09, and 01, you should input that into your application form for the registration. So we advise our clients to to identify your medical device in this catalog. Yeah, they will cover most of the catalog, most of the medical device in the world. But sometimes if your devices are very innovative and very brand new, you cannot find any device in this catalog. You can apply a classification identification process. That means you will provide your product descriptions to the NMPA. They will give you a response to say, oh, your device is the which category, it is the drug or the medical device or the non-medical device or the cosmetic. So you need to find your category for your devices before you to submit to kick off your registration. So let's go through the approval process. In this slide, I could just understand the timeline, the process, the procedure for the registration of the class 2 and class 3. Class 1 in China is very simple process. They do not need the registration. They just need the filing. The filing process is different from here. It's very important. It's just with, I think that's almost just 1 month to complete the class 1 filing, but the registration, there's a very long-term process. The first you need to do the prepare your registration dossiers. I suggest you can refer to the IMDRF, the table of content. That's the most information are just very similar. So you can refer to that catalog to see how which dossier is needed for China submission. Usually will include the home country approvals, the IFU, the labelings, the validation reports, the clinical evaluation reports, the QMS as well. When all dossiers done, and you need to submit to the NMPA. You can see here the ERPS, that's the e-filing system, and you need to submit to upload all your dossiers into the NMPA's e-filing system. And the NMPA will do the pre-check to see if all the dossiers have been uploaded to the right folders or not. They just check the sufficient. They will not check your content. If they say, okay, we can accept your dossiers, and they usually will take 5 working days to give you the response. And then you need to pay the NMPA the review fee. And I will have a slide later about the NMPA charge how much the review fee for that. And the NMPA will take the first round of review for 60 working days for class 2 and 90 working days for class 3. Usually, actually, their review phase will shorter. Usually about maybe 2 months for class 2 and 2.5 and 3 months for the class 3. Then they will give you a deficiency letter, and you can see that is also the supplementary notice. They will list all the questions about your dossiers from the chapter 1 to the chapter 6. They will to say if your devices have done that test, if you have done that clinical evaluation, or if you need to add more clinical evaluation evidence, or you should to show more, evidence to address the NMPA's requirements and questions. All the supplementary phase. That's we cannot so long time for that. We just only less than 1 year. You must done everything done. Address the NMPA questions. Less than 1 year. Then you will submit again, and the NMPA will take a review, the second round of a review. They will need the 60 working days for that, and if everything is okay and every questions they proposed has been addressed, so then they will give you a certificate. The certificate now, that is the PDF format. PDF you can download it from your e-filing system. There were several years ago, they're just the paper. The paper was, but now they have been, changed to the PDF format. In this slide, you could review also the change process. That's very similar to the registration. Once your project has been approved in China and some maybe your devices have some changes, and the China regulations will define some changes which you need to do the change process, which you do not need. You just need to do the filing or just the record in your QMS. That is okay. So there's exact regulation. And during the change process, and we also need to dossiers preparation and submit and the review, the first review, the supplementary service phase, the second review, and the approval. That's very similar to the registration as well. So also there's very important tips for the renewal. The certificate will have the 5 years for valid. So the renewal dossiers must be submitted to the NMPA at least 6 months before the registration certificate expires. That's very important. So if you miss the renewal window, and you may lost your certificate. You cannot be sold in China in the future if the certificate has expires. So you need to do a new registration again. That will cost a lot of money, a lot of time. So to make sure we can do the diligent planning and the timely submission for all the registration, for all the change and the renewal process, to navigating the whole regulatory process in China. So a lot of clients will usually ask, oh, how much and what are the specific expenses will involved in my project in China. So I just break down several important parts here. The first is the consultant service fee. If for the very big companies, international companies, they will have a team in China, a branch office in China. So they will have the RE and the QA team. So they may not need the consulting service. If they have a lot of the projects need to be kicked off, and they will hire the third party, the consultant to do that for you. And the consulting service will cover the expertise and the guidance provided by this consulting firm throughout the registration process, including from the compile all the registered dossiers and to follow up with the test, to communicate, to submit the dossiers, communicate with the NMPA on the questions, such as like that. That's a very important part, for consulting. And another is the type testing fee. Because in China, some tests need to be done. That's the mandatory in China. You must find a suitable, qualified test lab to do the test for your registration. So your consultant also will help you to draft the project technical requirement. That's a very important for the test lab to do the test, and also follow the type testing progress, the protocols, the report, and then get the report to packaged into your registration submission dossiers. Clinical evaluation fees I will have another slide for the clinical evaluation pathway. Yeah, this phase will cover the clinical evaluation report. Yeah, that's another major important part for the registration dossier is clinical evaluation report. And sometimes some devices may need to do the clinical trial in China. So that's a lot of massive, money to do the clinical trial in China also. And the NMPA service fee, and as I mentioned in my timeline and the procedures, that will show you need to pay the NMPA the service fee. So the next slide will show the service fee, for give you a big picture and how the NMPA will charge you, and the translation fee. And I understand a lot of my clients do the budget, they do not included such fees, but that's very important. Yeah, in China, you need to do the bilingual versions of all your dossiers. Yeah. The NMPA reviewers will to review the Chinese version, but sometimes they will check your English version or your original language version dossiers. So everything will be the bilingual. Yeah, the original language dossiers and also the Chinese dossiers. So the translation, that's a great workload actually. Sometimes the translation fee will be higher than the consulting service fee. In this slide, you will review how much the NMPA will charge you. Yeah, you can see the initial registration and the change process, the renewal process. So for the class 2 and the class 3, they are different. I think that is much higher than the FDA charged, right? Sometimes my clients will say, oh, if I need to do a separate certificate from the existing project, or just do the modification, and such budget will be considered as well. Yeah, if you do a separate, certificate, there will be the initial registration, so they will cost, NMPA will cost a lot, and the whole process will cost a lot. So you need to compare if how much and how long I need for a separate certificate from the existing one, or just do the modification on the existing certificate. So that's the strategy you need to map out before you kick off your project. Okay, it comes to the clinical evaluation pathways in China. Yeah, the medical device, as I mentioned, that will be divided into the class 1 and the class 2 and the class 3. Class 1 filing, as I mentioned, there's just only 1 month to complete the filing. So no need to do the clinical evaluation, and just several documents, and that's a very quick process. But do the registration, and when you go through the timeline and the procedure, that's complicated. So for the clinical evaluation for the class 2 and class 3 medical devices, and the NMPA also issued a catalog for the clinical evaluation exemption catalog. That's still a very big table, and you'll need to find out your device is listed in that clinical evaluation exemption catalog or not. If you listed in that, that's very great news. It means you just need to draft a simplified CER, maybe just several pages, to see, oh, your device is equivalent to the device listed in this exemption catalog. So you do not draft a very comprehensive clinical evaluation report. So if your device is not in that list, you need to do the clinical evaluation report. That's a very, very comprehensive one, maybe more than 50 pages, and sometimes you will more than 100 pages, this very big workload. how to draft the clinical evaluation report. China has issued several guidelines for the if your product has the predicates approved in China, and that's very good news. And you could draft the clinical evaluation report based on the equivalence of such predicates. And we just say, oh, the most of our projects are the same as the projects already approved in China, and there's no more risks. And even some minor differences, you can justify it from maybe the non-clinical test or the literatures, or just I listed here the real-world evidence. And for if your devices cannot find any predicates approved in China, and that's a very large likelihood to you need to do the clinical trial. Yeah. But since the 2018, the China has issued a guideline to accepting the overseas clinical trial. So the clinical trials also can cover the China one, and also can use your overseas clinical trial data or the multi-region international clinical trial data, to compile all data into the clinical evaluation report for submit as your evidence. The real-world evidence here also can be a supplementary evidence to justify the rational differences and to justify why I can use the overseas clinical trial to instead of the China clinical trial. If you need to do another clinical trial in China, that will cost a lot of money and a lot of time. So map out the least burdensome strategy, for your project, for your registration. That's very important. This slide, you will review some very unique special requirements for the overseas medical devices. You need to select a legal agent in China. Such agent will be on your certificate. Not on China certificate. You cannot just only your information, your name and your manufacturing site, but also will indicate the legal agent information there. Because the legal agent is your connection between you and the NMPA, and will do the submission, will follow up with the process, and also the post-market some activities. The China requires the overseas manufacturers to submit the annual report for the QMS, for the PMS. So the legal agent need to prepare and submit such report to the NMPA. And also the market approval, the China need, from the country of origin. There's good news is that the China has the latest regulation. Well, if a medical device is enrolled in the China's innovation approval pathway, and the requirement for this country of origin approval can be waived. And China still has some very special instant market access policy, such as the Hainan provinces and the Great Bay Area, the Macau, including the Macau, Hong Kong, and the Guangdong provinces. That's the area that's called the Great Bay Area. In such areas, if your devices or drugs had some innovations and clinical urgent use for the patients and for the hospital, and you do not need the certificate granted by the NMPA. You just need the approval from the local NMPA. We call it the local authorities. They will give you approval. Will review dossiers if you can meet the conditions, for such areas. and you can use in such regions the hospitals there, and also you can charge the patients as well. I think that's the instant China market access. Yeah, you can do your first commercialization, the sales activity in such regions. The next two slides, I will show some takeaways. Yeah, the strategy for the complete medical life cycle, that's very important. And if you choose the China as your target market to enter, you need to consider some external factors, internal factors, and to do some key decisions. Yeah, external analysis will cover how's the market in China and how's the growth in China, if any barrier in China, yeah, if any China policies will be upgrading. So you need to keep a close eye on the such regulations, not only in China, on the global ones, yeah, for your global strategies, yeah. And for you need to find if the competitive stress, yeah. So everything that's the external analysis, you need to do that. Meanwhile, you need to finalize your internal analysis, such as the company's capabilities. Yeah, if you kick off a project for China, you should find. I think from your side, you need to assign one or two people to be the main role, yeah, to do the project manager. And you need to contact it, find the if your project is adaptation, yeah, to China market, and also map out your strategy to like how long time, and this is the least burdensome strategy, or this still have some risk. Can we, to cover such risk or reduce such risk to the very low content that need to map out, yeah, before you kick off your strategy, before you kick off the official registration. And the key decisions, that means China has several market access modes. I think that's the same as the other countries. Yeah, if you just need the certificate and export to China and sell to the hospitals, that is okay. And you just need to the distributors as well. And if you would like to do the joint venture in China, that is also okay for that. And I listed the partner selection here, such as the consulting firm. You need to confirm maybe some lawyers, yeah, and some your registry service provider. If you need to find some distributors as well, yeah, in parallel during your registration. And maybe you have some demand for the investment. You can also to find some investors, yeah, some providers, and your China agent. That's all the factors you need to map out before you officially kick off your registration in China. So this is the very the last slide, and I need to show the key external roles. Yeah, because from during the pre-market phase, and what you should consider, you must have a find legal agent in China. Yeah, and you need to do some tap testing in China. So you need to find a suitable and qualified tap testing lab. Yeah, that's a mandatory. And you need to ship your samples to the test lab or the hospitals. You also need to find the logistic providers. Yeah, that's you must consider to for the pre-market. What you should have, that's some KOLs opinions from some maybe the big hospitals in China, and you could do research for them. And if my devices has the market in China, if the investigators, the hospitals would like to use my my devices or how the hospital, policy and the China reimbursement that you can get some opinions from these KOL leaders. And I understand a lot of clients will like to consider the IP, so you may get the lawyer to find a solution, to your IP service as well, and for the regulatory consultants, and for the small and the middle-sized companies, they may need the regulatory consultant in China. And if your devices need to do the clinical trial in China, so you still may find some CROs, the local hospitals. If you have the investment demand, so you need to maybe consider the investor and partners. During the post-market phase, legal agent, that's a mandatory, because that will be on your certificate. And after sales service, that is also a mandatory. You need to maintain all the service and the suppliers, the distributors, logistic providers, that's still mandatory. You must needed for China, business, and for the regulatory and the quality consultant that you may need it for that. If you will create a team in China, so they can handle the regulatory and quality side, so that is okay. If you do not have any plan to create the regulatory and quality team in China, so you still need some consultant to handle such issues for you. And for the post-market surveillance providers, that's why I listed here, because China has post-market surveillance, the AE systems. The legal agents need to submit the annual PMS report. So you still need someone to draft the report for you. If you do not have your own team to handle such report, you still need to find another providers to do that. China market is not your business market. It is still also the supplier for the global market. So that's why I just listed the contract manufacturers. Maybe you will need to find some contract manufacturers for all these elements. Consider addressing them strategically, and that could be help you to optimize your entry timing and cost to make sure your successful entry to China. And so that's really need a comprehensive strategy, from the pre-market to the post-market. That's very important. And we still advise you, and to once you have time to review the whole information I shared here, that will be very helpful. So that's the last slide of my presentation. Very thank you for your attention. I hope today's presentation has been informative. Please feel free to reach out to us, to me, Priya, or the RegDesk. That is okay. You can find me.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. We have a bunch of questions. Let's go over the questions. One of the questions is the classification in China the same as in Europe, or do you have a different classification system for registration process?
You mean the classification
of medical devices? So, Europe has 1, 2A, 2B, 3. Is that the same? What's a classification system in China?
That's class 1 is the very simple one. Class 2, maybe the middle risk devices. Class 3, usually the implant, the radiotherapy, such as like the high-level risk devices. That's a catalog for the medical device. China has issued its own medical device catalog. They will list most of the devices. That is the class 1, class 2, or class 3. Yeah, class 3 is the highest risk.
Yeah. You mentioned the review process. So the questions around that, they're saying if the first round of NMPA review, let's say it's in January, and then you get about 90 days till about April, then after that, you stated that no more than 1 year. So what does that mean?
That is means the first review will be finished in April, right? Yeah, and then no more than 1 year. That's the supplementary phase. That means between the first review, you got the questions from the NMPA, and before your second, your answers. So that's the no more than 1 year is the time for you to prepare all the answers to the questions proposed by NMPA during the first round review.
Are you saying you get more than 90 days? So let's say you submit this application, you get response back from NMPA. They have questions and deficiencies that they need for you to address. Then how many days do you have? You have 90 days to address their questions?
No, no more than 1 year. That means that's the same.
So
That's
meaning
like
you have 1
additional.
year, you have 1
Yeah,
year to answer their questions?
yes, 1
That's a
year.
long time.
Yeah, that's really a long time. Of course, you can get the answers in 1 month and submit.
Okay. But
Yeah,
if
but
you need more time, like if you need to run tests and
yes,
other, that's why they give you that time. Okay, got it.
yeah.
How often are fees updated by NMPA?
Um, they have been fixed for many years, so they will not adjust. I think for a long time.
Is there an itemized bill or breakdown of what goes in the initial registration NMPA review fee?
Just you need to pay once, yeah, all the time at the beginning of your registration.
Okay.
You cannot break that. You cannot break that.
Are clinical trials in China always required for class 3 devices?
That no, not always for class 3 devices. Sometimes if your devices are not listed, maybe that is the class 2 devices, but that is not listed in the medical device clinical evaluation exemption catalog. Yeah, not in that exemption catalog, you need to do the clinical trial. Yeah, because the NMPA will consider if you do not have the predicate or the equivalent device in China, how you prove your device is safety and efficacy. So that's why they need you to provide the clinical trial. Yeah, you can provide it, the overseas, you can provide the clinical trial in your country.
Does the market approval from country of origin determine what the intended use is? So let's say the intended use in the US, country of origin is something. Is that the same intended use or at wherever the country of origin is that applicable in China, or do they go with their own classification system and will say no, per your intended use, you fall into a different category in China?
I think that's not depending on the category, but the indication that usually well consistent with the intended use of the country of origin, or less than the intended use approved by your country. So you cannot expand your indication in China. Yeah, it's just less or equivalent to your indication.
Okay, it won't be higher.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good news. Then, okay, then the question is, what is the definition of country of origin? It's where you're established as an organization.
That means if your device is your registrant is located in the US, and we can use the FDA approval, such as the country of origin. As per the China regulation, you can use also the approval of your manufacturing site, actually, From the regulation, you can provide the home country approval. It means your registrant, the country, address, or the approval in your facility.
Are ISO 10993 biocompatibility standards recognized in China?
You already said yes, biocompatibility that's recognized. But you need as per the China still a template. You need maybe rewrite for as per this standard. But the most paragraphs, most format are the same as that.
And are the biocompatibility tests recognized if they're performed not on the final product?
That's actually depending on different scenarios. I could check that clause for you. I think there's a clause for that.
Do I need a free sale certificate from country of origin?
Yeah.
And can you explain the post-market process? What does that entail in China?
The post-market, the post-market activities, right?
Yes.
The legal agent will have a system, and instead of you to the NMPA, there will such as like the AE monitoring system, and you need to create an account there, and maybe your distributors or hospitals will to submit some cases, maybe you're related to your adverse event. So the legal agent and your side will to handle to do that. That's the one aspect and one scope of work for the PMS. And the PMS also will include the recourse. If you do the recourse in your country, and you should consider to do that in your China, also do a claims, and China also the strategy, also have a procedure how to do the recourse and what kind of recourse to do that. We'll cover the adverse event, we'll cover the recourse. I think that's pretty same as in the US as well.
Do you have any tips, as a last question, any tips for registrations in China? Because a lot of clients still struggle. They feel it takes a very long time to get registration. What can they do? Are there any tricks?
That could the strategy is very important. The least burdensome strategy. Your consultant need to tell you the risk, and the consultant need to tell you the risk is for that, and how to handle that, and how to collaborate to solve the questions, and that will be help to smooth the communication with the NMPA for the whole process for that. I think that's the China registration. I think that should be included into the global strategy as well. We usually suggested our clients to do the map out the global strategy, including China, because some once you do such a, for example, if you would like to do the clinical trial in the US, why do not include some Asian populations? Why do include it to review the China's guidelines of accepting the overseas clinical trial data? So you will once you finish your clinical trial in US, and the whole package data you can submit to the China as well. So the leverage the resources to map out the global strategy. Yeah, you can see all the different regions, different requirements.
Okay, got it. And then I said last question, two interesting questions came up, so we might as well address them. Is holder of registration in China the foreign manufacturer or the local agent? So if I am based in the US and I have an agent, will my agent be the registration holder?
The manufacturer in the US will be the holder.
Okay,
Yeah,
that,
you can change the legal agent.
that way you can change the legal agent.
Yes, yes.
And then can you maintain the CE logo of a European certification in the Chinese pack?
That's not the mandatory in China labelings, actually. Yeah. Chinese labeling will not to require if you must to show the CE or not. Yeah, they just need to do the China has a guideline for the labelings. It just follow that. The CE is not the mandatory one.
Got it. And then there was a question about the catalog, the primary and secondary. Can you explain the difference between the two, please?
Okay, the primary that means maybe the I will, for example, for the radiotherapy linear accelerator, and there will be different linear accelerators. So there will be subcategory. So there will be the second category for that. The primary may be the linear accelerator, and the next subcategory will be the different kind of linear accelerator. Yeah, that means the NMPA will classify the devices very detailed, very detailed. So if your devices need to track which product code and the category code, you can send me the email or just reach out to Priya.
And
We
we'll
can have to check.
yeah, absolutely. Well, Jocelyn, thank you so much. Truly appreciate your time. I know it's really late at night for you. And to our attendees, participants, thank you very much for engaging in the Q&A as well. Makes it a great presentation, and you're getting complimented on your excellent presentation. So thank you, Jocelyn, and thank you everyone for the feedback. For those in the US, have a great long weekend. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you. Thank you.